So here we are again, my dears, with the warrior and the illuminated world above him. And this time we come to David Bowie. David Bowie, I have him here. Oh no, that's not him, so I have him here. And this is not a part of the series Moonlight tour from 1983. Though I was 12 in 1983 when Let's Dance appeared, and I bought a couple of records in my early days as a teenager like this. The Changes One Bowie. This has the black RCA label, and the Changes Two Bowie. Great compilations. I loved them then, and back in those days I was so proud of them and listened to them quite frequently. If I re-listen to them nowadays, I'm a bit. This is an Italian one, by the way. The rare tracks on the green label CA, and this is a first press, by the way, because this is a German one from the soundtrack Wir Kinder from Bahnhof Show, and it's on the orange label that was released in Germany first. If I re-listen to them and I compare them to some originals, which are in the meantime acquired, it's been 35 or 40 years, over 40 years now, like this. This is the Station to Station as a UK original from the 70s on the orange RCA label, a first press. This one is a first press too of the low. You can see it also on the orange RCA label. And here I have another, though it's not technically a first press. This is a UK first, also on the orange label, but and that day David Bowie was already in Los Angeles, so you would really have to go for a US pressing, because the country of origin is the key thing about whether it being a first press or not. The distance from the original facility of recording the record and the first production plan has to be the shortest possible. That would result in the best sonical result you could possibly have, and therefore you go for the country of origin. Country of origin is this one. That's a German one. He was in Berlin then, so you have to head on the Heroes for the German version, which I have here also on an orange label. And last one I have is the Diamond Dogs UK first press on the orange label as well. To sum it all up and to finally cut a long story short, the difference between the ones I showed you first of my teens, and if I put on here's Diamond Dogs on, if I put it on here from this record, is you lose half of the soundstage if you play this. And it is tremendous. It's a fundamental effect, and you hardly believe it. You listen to this, it's bass heavy, it's so roaring, it's uploaded, it is punchy, it is hard, it is coming at you, and then you change to this, and suddenly you miss half of the instruments, half of the orchestra, half of the sound. Where is it? It's all gone. It's vanished. And that is tremendous. And I may not even think about what they did to us earlier, because we were so glad we had this and what is possible, or what might have been possible now. And same is with this. If you put on Heroes, now it's not quite that extreme, because this is a German pressing and the represses aren't so much worse. These are German repress also. The difference isn't that big, but it's, for instance, with the young Americans, and especially with where the low end, the bass heavy department is so accentuated that you really think it's a different number if you played on a compilation file. It is just the other way around with this one from 1980. These were the 70s. This is 1980. The legendary Scary Monsters with Ashes to Ashes. This is a European press from 83 on the Black RCA label. And this is bass heavy, just the other way around. This is the UK first press. It has a different label, also black. It has the bow 2 in the dead wax, and this is more accentuated. It's a better division of the instrument. Sound stage is different and wider, more in the mid-range and the upper end. The highs very well outbalanced, much more division. It's a finer production, you might say. The finer things keep shining through. And that's the thing about it. You should always go for the first press of the country of origin, wherever it might be. It changed then in the 80s. Let's Dance was already mainly remixed and remastered in New York by Nile Rodgers. So I have to really find out where was the location of the original recording, and you need a production plan from this. I'll show you the best original ever I have, and the best, we're saving the best for last. The best is a counterfeit. This has been counterfeited so frequently, and this is a counterfeit of the man who sold the world original cover from the Mercury production. But if the matrix number is etched and not stamped like it is on this, and I never ever had a stamped one in my hands, it is a counterfeit. But this is a great record because the guy who stepped inside the Mercury production plant, he bought all the jackets from Mercury, and he also bought a safety tape, and he was from out of the recording industries, and had, I think I remember he had worked for Mercury once, so he knew how to produce a record, and then he started pressing records from the safety tape with the original jackets, and he made a fortune with this. Mercury had already passed away the rights on the album, the copyright, and had traded over to RCA. RCA had seen Bowie grow famous on the legendary Ziggy Stardust tour, and then re-released the album with a different cover, the one with the leg thrown up into the air, which was from the Ziggy Stardust period, and they used a new remix, so they couldn't do anything about it. It was a different product. And this guy had made a fortune with this one, with the legendary counterfeit, which is bass heavy, which is well made, has a lot of punch. It is in your face. This is it. And then the jackets, he ran out of jackets. He reproduced them. He printed them newly by himself. And then the original copy tape was faulty too and defective and couldn't be used anymore. And being out of use, he started recutting from a Mercury record. And the origin of this, the record he cut it from, was defective, and it had a skipping. So the skipping reappeared on all the reproduction process, and the final items, the records he produced, each one had a skip, which was not due to a manufacturing fault, but to an original defect of the source he used. So that was quite the story of the crime of the century, so to say. You should always go for an original, but you can take the counterfeit if it's one from the not defective area of this one. And to find out which is the correct period, you have to listen to the sound, all the Madmen, and before the second repetition of the chorus, there is the line, and they're all as sane as me. And if there is not a skip and After all the rest of the line is missing, you're on the right side. So go. The key thing, what you have to remember from this, what you should memorize in your mind. Yeah, this is the Serious Moonlight Tour, by the way. Hello, nice seeing you again. You should always go for the country of origin, which in most cases is the UK, but in the later ones, where it mainly and mostly is the US, but might also be Switzerland or some island in the Caribbean, you have to find out